Friday Night Football on tap at Snapdragon Stadium. Aztecs and the Colorado State Rams. They are future competitors in the Pac-12, and they will tangle one final time as members of the Mountain Wests. Steve Perez, Louis Weiner, it's time again for Aztecs All In. And Louis, the Aztecs 3-1, Rams 1-3, but as the case last week, would be a big mistake if the home team loses its focus.
Hello, Steve. I am all pumped for the first conference game of the year and really interested to see how many fans turn up on a Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium. And coming up, hear what Coach Sean Lewis has to say about the Mountain West Conference's new player availability report and how it could impact his team.
In a bit, we'll also have something for you on the idea of winning no matter what, who, or how, and just how elusive and difficult that simple goal may be. But first, here's Lewis with more and a bit of a scouting report on the Rams.
Steve, the Aztecs will try to extend their best start to the season since starting 7-0 in 2021. That team won a school record 12 games and finished 25th in the AP poll. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. This game takes on more significance because it's the Aztecs' first conference game of the season. They'll face a Colorado State team that's 1-3 and coming off a loss to the same team that beat the Aztecs a few weeks back, Washington State. During this week's media availability, I asked Coach Sean Lewis if there's any advantage playing a team that had a common opponent.
I mean, a little bit. You got a good idea, right? But again, like you can tell that, they're multiple in their scheme. Man, they're aggressive on defense. They'll blitz you from all over. Doesn't matter where you are. And it's all varieties of it. They've had some injuries to some of their key guys offensively, and kind of really don't know the status of what that is. I guess we'll learn a little bit more here in the next 48 hours as we all put forth our first availability report, which will be neat. And then, kind of have a better idea of what that is. But Coach Norvell does a tremendous job. Had a chance to compete against him, a couple of years ago when I was at CU, and obviously was in a dogfight with him then. So those guys are going to be prepared. I mean, they're a competitive group, and he's built a strong culture there as well. So they're going to come down here. They're going to fight. It's a good reset, I think, for everyone, no matter what your record is when you get into conference play, right? So, we got to bring our A game, and we got to, again, that leads to the preparation and all the work that needs to get done typically in 7 days, now it needs to get done in 6, so again, it's that response. It's that so what, now what approach, right? Like either you point to that and you look to that like, woe is me, or you lean into it and you embrace it and realize like, oh yeah, this is a little bit more challenging than the normal prep week, but these are the fun moments that we signed up for, right? So let's go do it together.
Colorado State has used 2 starting quarterbacks so far this season. Braden Fowler-Nicolosi started the first 3 games, but a sluggish offense in Game 3 against UTSA led to a quarterback switch, and in came Jackson Brousseau. He engineered a pair of touchdown drives in a game they lost 17-16, but Coach Jay Norvell was happy enough with his play that Brousseau started the Washington State game. He finished 19 of 28 for 188 yards and no touchdowns, but the red-hot Aztecs defense will be facing a CSU offense that has been struggling. The Rams average just 15 points a game and 334 yards a game. That's 153 on the ground and 191 in the air. They'll be facing an Aztecs defense that is ranked in the top 20 nationally in rushing defense, passing defense, total defense, scoring defense, and passing efficiency defense. And Coach Sean Lewis is quick to point out that new defensive coordinator Rob Ulrich is a big reason why.
Yeah, I think his ability to allow the players to play free, to play clean, and to play fast, right, to allow them to play has been great. And it's something that, we saw with his development and the way that he coached up the rushes, taking a young man in Trey White last year, right, who had never played the position, and giving him a set of tools, giving him a set of rules within the set of calls that Trey really knew, like kind of, hey, like within this call, you can go this far right, you can go this far left, and within those parameters of the call, with the tools that I've given you, go solve the problem, right? So that Trey didn't have to be a robot. The edges last year didn't have to be a robot, and I think you see that through all of our defense right now. Like they understand the intent of the call. They understand why we're calling it in the situations that we are, and they know that the support that they have on the boundary gives them the freedom and the confidence to cut it loose and go play fast. And so I think, again, like a lot of kids made about, hey, Aztec fast, that's just our style of offensive play. Like, guys, that's our identity and our brand for our program, right? To where those guys are focused, they're intentional, they're accountable to the call, they're playing smart, making good decisions. And man, they're a tough unit, right? Like they're a hard out. And what I loved about them, right? Like no matter where they, what positions they were put in on Saturday, because we didn't put them in some great positions, right? It was like, okay, like put the ball down. Like let's go play, right? I mean, they work their tails off there and, get off the field. Punt block team goes out there. We jump off sides. We have a face mask penalty and, gift them another set of downs. It's like that's another turnover, right? Like, so now the defense has to go back out. Okay, buckle it back up. So what, now what? Like, guys' demeanors were great. Chests were held up high. And again, they're able to go play fast, play confident within the structure of the defense and play together.
Colorado State coach Jay Norvell is fully aware of the challenge his team faces against that stout Aztec defense, and he had high praise for both the team and Coach Sean Lewis.
Really looking forward to going to San Diego State. This is a good football team. This is a game we always look forward to. Extremely physical team, very competitive. Coach Lewis has done a good job. He comes from that Art Briles tree, was with Dino Babers for many years. Spread offense, goes fast, tries to push the ball down the field vertically, does a good job of that. Defensively, they've played very well this year. Had a really low scoring game this past week, 6-3. But they played very physical on defense. They're athletic. They do a good job of covering. And it's a game we always look forward to. This game always comes down to turnovers and special teams. And so we're going to be really focusing in those areas this week.
Steve, Coach Lewis hopes to get a little more consistency out of the offense. Quarterback Jaden Danigal struggled at times against NIU, finishing 13 of 20 for just 110 yards, and he did throw 2 interceptions. The rushing game behind Lucky Sutton and Christian Washington is also trying to find its way. On the ground, the Aztecs rushed for 151 yards, but just 3.4 yards a carry, and that included a number of short yardage situations that the Aztecs were not able to convert. But Coach Lewis says he knows what needs to be fixed to improve those short yardage situations.
Yeah, we lost gap integrity, right? And so there's on both those plays where we came up short, we ran the ball, right? We didn't maintain our gap integrity, and there's going to be run-throughs. We got to anticipate backers playing fast downhill in those situations, and we hung a little bit too long on our level 1 threat and didn't come off and maintain our gap integrity on that. So saw it, learn from it, right? Know that we'll be better because of it. It's something that we've been emphasizing. Coach Smith's been talking to, and we've been getting away with some things a little bit with it, which is how heavy we've been leaning on level 1. And, again, like at this point, as you go, your tape's your resume, right? And people are going to see different things. And so you got to, again, have the humility to know, like, all right, detach from results, right? Like there's a process that needs to be top of mind in each of those situations, in those critical moments, and that each down's important, but the urgency in each situation is not the same, right? And so we'll learn from that. We'll get better because of that. But yeah, we just, had some run-throughs because we lost our gap in integrity on those plays.
Steve, this is the first time the Aztecs will be dealing with the Mountain West Conference's new player availability reporting policy. Beginning this week, each of the league's teams must provide public updates on player participation status, including designations for players out or questionable 2 days before the game, and a final update 3 hours before kickoff. The report will not include injury details. While this may seem minor to fans, Coach Lewis says there is a big reason behind it.
We have our media day at the world's largest sports book, right? Like it's just the game's evolving, the environment is evolving, and also, right, like at the end of the day, like you want to know who's in, who's out, who's questionable, and at the end of the day, that's all that we're going to do. So I think you get a bunch of smart people in the room, and everyone has a different set of ideas as you're trying to like cook up the recipe for our league that makes it best. And as we shared the idea, as it came to the surface that, hey, what we came to, it was like we kind of looked at each other like, this will be right. A nice little chef's kiss, right? Like here, it's where we're at. It's not necessarily what some of the big boys supposedly are doing, right? But it's not nothing, and it shows how we can continue to innovate, we can adapt, we can overcome, and we can share some information and know, like, like we're doing it anyways, right? Like we're setting the travel roster and right, like it's there. And then also I think again, just knowing the reality of what it is, right? Like we're here to serve the kids. So if we take the ownership and the onus upon ourselves to put that information out there, then some of the nefarious characters that try and get to our kids and try and influence them behind the scenes, because there's so much money involved in the legalized sports gambling across our country right now. Like it protects our kids because the information is out there. So we'll release that availability report, help insulate our kids a little bit. And again, like I just think that's, be a nice pizza pie. It's good.
Coach Lewis adds that most of the information is already available publicly to teams if they want to find out. And technology is really coming into play when it comes to that.
We all have the tape. We all have Chat GPT that we can, hey, is Kirk Kenny going to be at the press conference? Like we can, like that's a part of, right? Like use all the tools that are out there. Like that's a part of our process right now. Like, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, it was funny. Like there was a young man who wasn't dressed in the previous game before we played. I called one of the GAs in like back in the day and I'm like, hey, like go scour the internet, check and see if so-and-so is going to be available to play. And I was like, wait a second. Hang on. And I logged on Chat GPT and like, hey, is so-and-so going to be ready to play against the Aztecs? And it compiles every single interview. And then it was like 30-second problem. And it's like, yep, he's available. He practiced yesterday. Coach said it here. I'm like, don't worry about it. Go figure out something else to do right now. Like I solved that. So it was accurate. This was not a big enough sample size, but it's like, all right, we have this tool and I don't know how to use it. Luckily, the GAs do. So now they're, going with it, but it's like, all right, let's use it all. And now we have the availability report. And, again, we'll see as we go through the season, like, all right, that information, you can glean something from it. That information, we'll see.
Steve, this will be the 38th meeting between the two schools, with the Aztecs owning a 22-15 advantage and the Aztecs winning 7 of the last 9, but the road team has won 7 of the last 11 meetings.
And Lewis, you noted the QB issues with the Rams, but there are 10 other guys out there on offense, 11 on defense, and special teams who just may play a role in how this one turns out. Here's a couple other key names and parts of the game to keep an eye out for. And all of this is according to ESPN info, the Mountain West, the Rams, NCAA stats. That stuff out there on the interwebs. So Jay Norvell's squad is running that pro-style air raid offense and actually leading, though, on the ground to date. They have a running back, Jalen Dupree, who's a 5'10", 195-pound sophomore who is their lead rusher. 53 carries, 267 yards, 5 yards a carry average, and a touchdown. He can be explosive in bursts and is that key to getting some rhythm on the RPO. Running back Lloyd Avant is a junior. He's a 6-footer, 210, and he'll carry as well. He has 33 of them, 209 yards total, 7 yards a carry average with 2 touchdowns. So he's a shifty change of pace guy and complements Dupree and Veer and looks to try to grind that Aztec front. On defense, leaders are linebacker Brendan Jackson, a 6'2", 235 junior, a sideline enforcer, and will attempt to bottleneck the Aztecs' run game. And then there is cornerback Taj Dixon. He's a senior, 6 foot, 190. He is a pick threat with the 2 interceptions and will seek to lock down the deep threat that any Aztecs receivers try to present downfield. And regarding that available report, at the time we put this episode to bed, there was no further information posted on the Mountain West website, but interesting to note that New Mexico got ahead of the whole drill by posting the status of its players last week against non-conference foe New Mexico State. That 6-3 win over NIU epitomizes just how brutal it can be to eke out a win at the FBS level. Scores like that won't have any highlights featured on the national shows, but as Raiders managing general partner Al Davis said, this was after his team defeated Washington in the 1984 Super Bowl, with, by the way, no small assist from a kid out of Lincoln High School here in San Diego named Marcus Allen. So after cradling that trophy, sharing it with head coach Tom Flores, Al Davis takes a deep breath and says it. Just win, baby. Basically, It's a weekly test of will, preparation, and sheer tenacity. That's football. Head coach John Lewis, his Aztecs, living proof. Lewis constantly hammering home his favorite mantra of being consistently good, not occasionally great. Let's explore that and hear from the coach and players on the challenges they face and even draw some inspiration from some legendary voices in the game. And we'll learn players like Aztecs wide receiver Donovan Brown actually believes winning's easy if you just focus and execute. Here's Coach Lewis on the topic, an issue I raised because of all the talk I heard about the lack of style points in the most recent win. I say it's tough to come out on top no matter who you're facing, especially on the road, against a respected program like NIU. And for evidence, Lewis points to a broader college football landscape, reminding us that upsets and close calls happen every weekend, and there are coaches in the unemployment line early in this collegiate season because they didn't just win.
Look around the landscape of college football any single weekend, right? Like, it is hard to win, guys. And you have to have a humility and a hunger to go earn the right to call yourself a winner again. And so our kids have leaned into it, right? Like, yeah, there's not a whole lot of style points. We're going to look at that one, right, as a program and say, man, that was it. That was beautiful, right? But, I mean, when you look at it defensively, that's a work of art now. I mean, creating turnovers, getting stops, rallying, responding, playing physical.
There you have it, Lewis. Defense as a work of art, even in a low-scoring slugfest. And winning seasons aren't always about flashy plays or blowouts. It's often about grinding out results through physicality and responding to adversity. And that echoes a timeless sentiment in the game of football. It was legendary coach Vince Lombardi who once said, "The difference between a successful person and others, it's not a lack of strength and not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will." That will is what Lewis and his staff and his council of team leaders have worked hard to instill throughout this team. And the players, well, they seem to be fully on board. Will's side linebacker Owen Chambliss has been having a terrific season to date. He's 6'3", 230. Been showing speed and instincts this season. And he sets upon the side with the fewer blockers as that Will linebacker. On any given play, you can see him chasing ball carriers sideline to sideline, maybe blitzing or spying on a mobile QB or even covering tight ends or slot receivers. So far, he's logged 37 tackles, 23 solo, 2 sacks, 2 pass breakups. Here he is now breaking down the mindset behind embracing those so-called ugly wins and stressing that every game presents unique situations that you can't always control.
I mean, people can say, it was just 6-3 or, a win is a win. It doesn't matter how it comes. It comes different every week. The situation of the game is going to be completely different from week to week. We can't control the situation. All we can control is that we won.
Chambliss nails it. Focus on the W and keep getting better. That's the essence of Lewis' mantra of being consistently good, not occasionally great. It's about showing up every day, every play, without relying on sporadic heroics, and staying on an even keel. As a result, the Aztecs, who won just 3 games all last season, they've already matched that through 4 games this year. And Chambliss credits a deeper team connection and superior confidence, a far cry from last year's struggles. Here's more from Coach Lewis on the maturation of his squad.
And then again, right, like there's so much guys that came out of that game that doesn't show up in the stat book. And that's the stuff that I care about, right? Like, the scoreboard's going to take care of itself, and I know we got to score more points, and I know we got to have more explosives, and that's going to come. Like, I get that, but again, like, I don't know what their overall win-loss record is at that place over the years, but that's a hard place to win now. That's a darn good program, right? Like, they have a section in their building called the Boneyard for all the P4 teams that they've beaten, right? And they do a good job making sure that as an opponent, like, you see all that stuff all the time, right? So, again, like, to go on the road, all right, and all the comparisons that have been made about last year and this year. Okay, well, we did that last year. We went on the road, really far away from home, had adversity in the travel, go into Mexican country, and we come up short. Okay, that's done. All right, well, we went on the road. We were met with adversity. The guys showed character. They showed resilience. They showed connection. They showed fight. They showed toughness. They showed love to finish together. and they found a way to win. Like, there was good energy on the boundary. There was good encouragement. There was good enthusiasm. 3-1 coming out of conference play. I think we all would have signed up for that at the start of the year.
That found a way to win mentality is what separates good teams from great ones. It's reminiscent of what Hall of Fame quarterback Tom Brady, a prominent player known for his clutch performances, once said, "To me, football is so much about mental toughness. It's digging deep, doing whatever you need to do to help a team win, and that can come in a lot of shapes and forms." Brady's words ring true for the Aztecs. They dug deep into DeKalb. Receiver Donovan Brown, a junior transfer from Syracuse, offers his perspective. But first, you should have seen the daps he gave to Chambliss near the beginning of his interview with local media on Monday. He talked about plays the offense left on the field and how the defense stepped up. Brown plays a hybrid wideout slot in the offense. It's an effort to stretch the defense. He's got length at 6'2", the ability to come down with contested balls and generate yards after catch. He has 10 catches on the season out of 18 targets, 8.3 yards a catch. Brown, though, challenges the notion that winning is inherently hard. While stressing team unity and fundamentals, it's also straight out of the consistently good playbook.
Me personally, winning, like people say winning is hard. I don't think winning is hard. I think when your team comes together and y'all play like how y'all usually play, like Coach Lou always says, what do he say? Perfect the basics. You do the basics right, everything else falls in place. So if we just do what we usually do, come out like how we usually do, the win should already be there.
Okay, here's Chambliss and Brown on how they believe the team has executed to date on Coach Lewis' mantra of being consistently good, not occasionally great.
I mean, we 3-1. You feel me? So, I mean, you tell me. Facts.
We are consistently good. Obviously, there's so much room to improve. I always speak from a defensive standpoint. We're getting better.
Brown's confidence shining through there. 3-1 does speak volumes, but he knows there is work ahead, especially with Colorado State looming Friday. Aztecs offense left plays in the field against NIU, but as Brown notes, it's about not beating yourselves and executing the details. This ties back to Lewis's call for consistency across all phases. To put a bow on this one, it's clear Coach Lewis believes he has a tough, resilient squad that continues to mature week in, week out. He continues to talk a lot about toughness, and Lewis been reading sections of that book by Jay Billis called Toughness, and Coach Sean Lewis gave that to the team leaders over the summer, and to me, there is a revelation on every page when I have taken the time to turn them. Plenty of that toughness on display during that 6-3 win in DeKalb, and perhaps they can draw on some of that as the season goes on. Most important at this point, Friday night against the Rams. During some of the Aztecs' most successful seasons in program history, those Mountain West Conference championship teams displayed plenty of toughness, and I recall appreciating every minute of those, knowing just how tough it is to win any football game. Even if it's a 4-on-4 Nike Air Out contest with your buddies from the North County Times, for instance. And we did okay in that tournament until we met up in the championship game against the team of sandbaggers from Temecula, Lewis. They called themselves old and slow, and they were neither.
Steve, some final thoughts. We all know how good the Aztecs defense was during the Rocky Long years, but so far this season, the defense is doing something that Long's never did. Through 4 games so far, the Aztecs have given up just 39 points. That is the 5th fewest in Aztecs history, dating back to 1969, and the fewest since the 1975 team gave up just 32. That's 50 years ago. So what the Aztecs are doing so far this season isn't just remarkable, it's historical. With Colorado State averaging fewer than 16 points a game, this is a great opportunity for the Aztecs to put up even more impressive numbers.
Okay, Lewis, we've looked at both teams, and it's time for them to figure out who's going to win this thing at the Snapdragon Stadium. Hope they have a good crowd out there on tap Friday.
And that will do it for this edition of Aztecs All In. We'll be back with you following the Colorado State game. Thanks for giving us a listen. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also drop us a line, aztecsallin@gmail.com, or follow us on the X for the late breaking Aztec news, Aztecs_all_in. So for Steve Perez, I'm Louis Weiner. Until next time, so long.